The third value that under the essential maqasid is the protection of intellect. So the intellect is a great gift from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to mankind. This faculty that differentiates man from the animal. So everyone has to protect this precious gift by utilizing it for the benefit of all. The protections of intellect by means of reservations. The rule that has been prescribed in order to protect intellect, to protect our mind, that is ta'lim, educations. Education is obligatory on every Muslim. As mentioned in the hadith, طلب العلم فريضة على كل مسلم. And then in the Surah Tawbah, the Quran says, وَمَا كَانَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ لِيَنْفِرُوا كَافَةً فَلَوْلَا نَفَرَ مِنْ كُلِّ فِرْقَةٍ مِّنْهُمْ طَائِفَةٌ لِتَفَقَّهُوا فِي الدِّينِ وَلِيُنْذِرُوا قَوْمَهُمْ إِذَا رَجَعُوا إِلَيْهِمْ لَعَلَّهُمْ يَحْذَرُونَ. Nor should the believers to go out to fight all together, of a contingent from every expedition remained behind that could devote themselves to studying religions, and that they may warn their people when they return to them, so that they may beware of evil. So this is about knowledge of religions. There shall be among us who are learned in religion, who devote themselves to study the religions, and then they can educate their people, to remind the people, to give warning to their people. But the seeking of knowledge is not only on the religious knowledge, but also other field of knowledge. And as in the Surah Al-Nahl, the Quran says, فَاسْأَلُوا أَهْلَ الذِّكْرِ إِن كُنتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. So Ahl al-Zikri huna, the knowledgeable persons, are not specific in religious study, but all other field of significant for Muslim. So the Muslim Ummah should seek all knowledge that which is essential for the Ummah. It can be a place of reference of the people. The people can ask them if they do not know. So this is the significance of intellect. That's why the Muslim jurist has says that the seeking knowledge is obligatory. It is some type of knowledge is considered as personal, obligatory, wajib aini, that is to learn, to know God, to know what is halal and haram. This is dispensable. This is obligatory to everyone, to know how to perform our religious duty, to perform worship. This is what we call it fardu to everyone. And then collective obligations, wajib kafai. This is various fields of knowledge that which is necessary. Every Muslim has to possess this knowledge. And then the protection of mind by means of preventions. That is to prevent anything that may harm this faculty of intellect and this faculty of mind from functioning. So the Shariah has prohibited all type of substance, all liquor or any similar substance, such as drug or chemical mixture that may harm the functions of the mind. And this was the Quran clearly stated that the wine, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu innamal khamru wal maisir wal ansab wal azlam rijsun min amali syaitan fajtanibuhu la'allakum tuflihun. Or you believe, intoxicants of all kinds, gambling, and al-ansab and al-azlam, that is arrows for seeking luck or decisions, are abominations of Satan's handiwork. So avoid strictly all that abominations in order that you may be successful. Next, it is not only to protect our mind from physically corrupt, but as well as from intellectually corrupt. To safeguard the mind from corrupt intellectual. In this respect, the Quran says, "Qul huwa alladhi ansha'akum wa ja'ala lakum as-sam'a wal absara wal afida qalilan ma tashkurun." Say it is He who has created you and endowed you with hearing and seeing and heart. But little thanks you give. So Allah has given this faculty of thinking, but little of us will thank Allah in this respect. Instead, they use this faculty in order to deny Allah. In the words of the Surah Al-Ahqaf, the Quran says, وَجَعَلْنَا لَهُمْ سَمْعًا وَأَبْصَارًا وَأَفْئِدَةً فَمَا أَغْنَى عَنْهُمْ سَمْعُهُمْ وَلَا أَبْصَارُهُمْ وَلَا أَفْئِدَتُهُمْ مِنْ شَيْءٍ إِذَا كَانُوا يَجْحَدُونَ بِآيَاتِ اللَّهِ. And we have endowed them with faculties of hearing, seeing, heart, and intellect. But the faculties of hearing, seeing, heart, and intellect avail them nothing, since they used to deny the sign of Allah. Meaning to say that deny the truth, deny the very truth. We use our intellect, mocks in what has been bestowed by Allah, to accept the truth and not to deny it. This is what we call it corrupt intellectual. If we deny the truth, deny the reality. Next, the protection of progeny. It is about the survival of human being, about the reproductions. Islam has enacted a number of rules in order to protect progeny. By way of observations, Islam has laid down the rules in order to protect the progeny, that is by way of marriage. This is the way that has been recognized by Islam, not by other ways, to differentiate between human being with the animal. The kingdom of animal and kingdom of human being. The process of reproduction through marriage is not through other means. In this respect, the Quran says, فَانْكِحُوا مَا طَابَ لَكُم مِّنَ النِّسَاءِ مَثْنَى وَثُلَاثَ وَرُبَاعَ فَإِنْ خِفْتُمْ أَلَّا تَعْدِلُوا فَوَاحِدَةً. So marry women of your choice, 2 or 3 or 4. This is the limit, 4. But if you fear that you shall not be able to deal justly, then only 1. This is the way that the Islam has regulated. In the hadith of the Prophet, Ya Ma'shar al-Shabbat, Man istata'a minkum al-ba'ah falyatazawwaj fa'innahu aghaddu lil-basar wa ahsanu lil-faraj wa man lam yastati' fa'alayhi bis-sawm fa'innahu lahu wija'. O youth, those of you who have the means to get married shall do it, as it is better to protect your eye and your desire. For those who are unable to do so, they shall fast. as it is a protection for you. This hadith is reported by Bukhari and Muslim. Another rules in order to protect the sanctity of the progeny or the clean of progeny, that is to safeguard the chastity. In Surah An-Nur, the Quran says, "Kullu al-mu'minin yaghuddu min absarihim wa yahfadhu furujahum, zalika azka lahum." And tell the believing men to lower their gaze and protect their private parts. That is a pure for them. Then also the Quran said in the same surah, the verse 31, وَكُلِّ الْمُؤْمِنَاتِ يَغْضُضْنَ مِنْ أَبْصَارِهِنْ وَيَحْفَظْنَ فُرُوجَهُنْ. And tell the believing women to lower their gaze and protect their private parts. This is in order to protect progeny from mixing with each other. And then also, Shariah prescribed iddah for the woman who has been divorced by her husband, or in the case of the death of husband, woman has to observe iddah. For the divorced woman, if she is a person who still has menstruations, has to observe iddah by 3 quru. The Quran says, وَالْمُطَلَّقَاتْ يَتَرَبَّصْنَ بِأَنفُسِهِنَّ ثَلَاثَةَ قُرُوء. 3 quru. The quru, according to some jurists, say that it is menstruations. The Shafi'i said that this is the clean period. Also have to observe whether 3 clean period or whether 3 menstruation. After complete, so they can get married. During this iddah, woman is not allowed to marry. This is not in order to protect the progeny, not to be mixed with others. For the woman who has been divorced but has no menstruation, they have to observe the iddah for 3 months. وَاللَّائِي يَئِسْنَ مِنَ الْمَحِيضِ مِنْ نِسَائِكُمْ إِنِ ارْتَبْتُمْ عِدَّتُهُنَّ 3 أشهر. This for a woman who has no menstruations, the iddah is 3 months. And then for the woman who has whose husband has died, has to observe iddah 4 months, 10 days. The Quran says, وَالَّذِينَ يُتَوَفَّوْنَ مِنكُمْ وَيَذَرُونَ أَزْوَاجًا يَتَرَبَّصْنَ بِأَنفُسِهِنَّ 4 أشهر وعشرة. So for those who has died, has to observe the iddah 4 months, 10 days. And those who are pregnant, the iddah is delivery of the baby. This is a rule that has been prescribed in order to protect the progeny. Next, the protection of progeny by means of prevention. To prevent that anything may bring harm to progeny. That is prohibitions of adultery. The Quran clearly says, وَلَا تَقْرَبُوا الزِّنَا إِنَّهُ كَانَ فَاحِشَةً وَسَاءَ سَبِيلًا. And come not near to adultery, for it is a shameful deed and evil, or paying road to other evil. This is the zina. And then there is punishments for a person who commit this crime. And then also the prohibitions of close proximity or khalwat, prohibitions of abstaining from marriage or renunciation of marriage. Islam encourages a person who are able to get married has to marry. It is not allowed to abstain from marriage. So there's as evidence from the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, reported by Tirmizi and Ibn Majah, عن قتادة عن حسن عن سمرة أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم نهى عن التبتل. That is abstain from marriage. Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam prohibited from abstaining the marriage. And then also the prohibition of same-sex marriage, men with men, women with women, is because of this type of marriage can produce nothing. This is useless. This is mere undesired. The Quran says, "Ya ayyuhan-nas ittaqu rabbakum alladhi khalaqa lakum min nafsin wahidatin wa khalaqa minha zawjaha wa batha minhuma rijalan kathiran wa nisaa." All mankind, be fear Allah, who created you from a single person, that from Adam, and from him he created his wife Hawa, and from them both he created many men and women. So the progeny comes from the marriage between men and women, not between men and men, women and women. So this is about the prohibitions of same-sex marriage. The last one is the protection of wealth. Wealth, of course, is one of the most significant means of human existence. Without wealth, we cannot survive. But wealth is not an end. Our aim of this life is not to search for wealth, as well as assist us in order to survive in this world as Khalifah. Allah has provided us with sufficient provisions. The Quran says, He it is who created for you all that is on earth. And then in another verse, وَسَخَّرَ لَكُمْ مَا فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ جَمِيعًا. So what Allah has created for us, what is in the earth, what is in heaven, so it is sufficient for us as a means to assist us in order to survive in this world. The protection of life, or the protection of wealth, by means of preservations, that is protections of personal wealth. We have to respect the ownership, personal ownership. We cannot violate this ownership. The ownership of a person is, as we know from the hadith, كل مسلم على المسلم حرام دمه وماله وعرضه. Every Muslim, our other fellow Muslim, is prohibited. Their blood, his wealth, and his dignity. So personal ownership is respected, is honored. And then also the protections of public wealth. This is about environment, about the world that Allah has given us, that all of us can benefit. The river, the sea, the forests. This one also we have to protect, not to damage. This is a valuable asset that Allah has given, not to damage it. And then also we have to acquire wealth by legitimate means. Inshallah, we see the words later on prohibitions of the acquiring wealth by the unlawful means. And then also the meaning of protection of wealth is to invest the wealth, to increase the wealth, to develop the wealth. As the words in the Surah Hud, هو الذي أنشأكم من الأرض واستعمركم فيها. In this verse, the Quran says it is He who had produced you from the earth, and then He asked you to develop them, to develop the earth, to develop the land. This is one of the functions of the human being as qualified in this world, to develop, to increase the wealth, to invest, to develop. And then the protection of wealth by means of prevention, prohibitions of damaging wealth, whether personal or public wealth. In this respect, the Quran clearly states that in the many verses of the Quran, Kulu washrabu min rizqillah wa la ta'thaw fil ardi mufsidin. So eat and drink the sustenance that provided by Allah, and do no evil, no mischief on the earth. And this was وَلَا تُفْسِدُوا فِي الْأَرْضِ بَعْدَ إِصْلَاحِهَا. So, and do no mischief on the earth after it has been set in order. This is what we call the preservations and the preventions of any damage that we have to preserve from this public wealth, from the wealth that all people can benefit. And then prohibitions of spending wealth in wrongful way, by unlawful means. This is just wasting of wealth. And then prohibitions of transgressing the property of a person without a valid reason. And also the prohibition of stealing. And then there's punishments for the case of stealing. And then prohibitions of consuming or acquiring wealth by unlawful means. In this aspect, the Quran says, وَلَا تَأْكُلُوا أَمْوَالَكُمْ بَيْنَكُمْ بِالْبَاطِلِ وَتُدْلُوا بِهَا إِلَى الْحُكَّامِ لِتَأْكُلُوا فَرِيقًا مِنْ أَمْوَالِ النَّاسِ بِالْإِثْمِ وَأَنْتُمْ تَعْلَمُونَ. And eat up not one's another's property unjustly, that is by unlawful means. Nor give bribery to the rulers, that is the judge, before presenting your case, so that you win the case, that you may knowingly eat up a part of the property of others sinfully. So in this verse, it clearly indicates that it is prohibited to acquire wealth by unlawful means, whether by way of stealing or robbing or deceiving or breach of trust, or by bribery, corruptions, and then by way of trading the prohibited item. So this is in order to preserve wealth, not to be damaged of this wealth, because the person acquired by the wealth by unlawful means, he has to dispose of this wealth. So these are 5 values that Shariah seek to protect. This is 5 essential values, the most significant Maqasid, that is Maqasid dominant. The next is Maqasid Hajiyah, complementary Maqasid or needed Maqasid. What is the needed Maqasid? Needed Maqasid, this Maqasid is to provide easiness and comfort to human life. The missing or the absence of this Maqasid will not cause disruptions or corruptions to human life, as in the case of the absence of zins to Maqasid. But the missing of this Maqasid, it may cause hardship, difficulty, and discomfort to human life. There are many evidence to show that the Shariah has been prescribed in order to provide easiness to the subject. In Surah Al-Baqarah, the Quran says, "Yuridu Allahu bikum yusra wa la yuridu bikum al-usra." Allah intends for you ease, and He doesn't want to make things difficult for you. And then in the Surah Al-Ma'idah, "Ma yuridu Allahu liyaj'ala alaykum min haraj." Allah does not want to place you in difficulty. And in another surah, in Surah Al-Hajj, the Quran says, "Wa ma ja'ala alaykum fid din min haraj." And Allah has not laid upon religion any hardship. In matter of religions, Allah does not intend to give or to impose hardship on us. But this is for our benefits. What rules that has been prescribed in order to achieve this maqasid? The awareness rule has been prescribed on the providing concessions. That is about Assoc. So the Shariah remove any hardship on the subject in the performing of the religious duty. For example, it is allowed for persons who is sick and who is travel to break the fast in the month of Ramadan. And the Quran says, وَمَنْ كَانَ مَرِيضًا أَوْ عَلَى سَفَرٍ فَعِدَّةٌ مِنْ أَيَّامٍ أُخَرَ. Whoever is ill or on journey, the same numbers of days which the one did not observe Saum must be made up from the other days. So this rule has been prescribed in order to remove hardship on the subject. And also we are allowed to shorten the prayer in case of traveling. So the Quran says, وَإِذَا ضَرَبْتُمْ فِي الْأَرْضِ فَلَيْسَ عَلَيْكُمْ جُنَاحٌ أَن تَقْصُرُوا مِنَ الصَّلَاةِ إِنْ خِفْتُمْ أَن يَفْتِنَكُمْ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا. So, and when you travel, there is no sin on you. If you shorten a salat, if you fear that the disbeliever may put you in trouble. So this is not only in case of we fear the other will harm us, but also in the case of journey, in case of the traveling or journey, is also allowed to shorten the salah. And then also another form of the rule that has been prescribed another to remove hardship, that is respect to the payment of debt. So particularly in any time of hardship, persons who are unable to pay his debt, so he is given time to another day that when he able to repay his debt. So in the Quran, when kana zu usratin fanaziratun ila maisarah. And if the debtor is in a hard time, there is no money, then grant him time till he is easy for him to repay his debt. So this is about the rule that in order to remove hardship on a person who in a state of hardship, particularly in our present day context, hardship of the pandemic of COVID-19. So a person has no job, no work. So it is grant them the postponement of the payment of debt. And then the Shariah also has legalized many type of transactions in order to provide business to the subject. For example, the legalizing the forward sale. This type of sale where the subject matter is not exist at the time of the contract. So based on the general principle, it is not permissible, but this one it is allowed with conditions. So in this respect, the Prophet ﷺ, when he migrated to Medina, he observed the people of Medina were doing this type of transactions. So he affirmed, he rectified this transactions, but with a condition. The Prophet said, "Man aslafa falyuslif fi kaylin ma'lum wa zil ma'lum ila ajalin ma'lum." So if persons are doing the contract of forward sale, they have to do it with a known measure, with a known weight, with a known duration. So this is about forward sale. And then also legalizing the manufacturing contract. This is also the subject matter is not exist during the time of contract, but the subject matter is under constructions. This we call it istisna. It is also permissible. Same thing with the lease ijara. So these are all rules that have been prescribed in order to achieve this maqasid. And then the last one, the third one, the third type of maqasid is maqasid tahsiniyah. So this maqasid is to beautify or embellish the conditions of mankind and bring them to a better positions. So in other words, its aim is to bring the perfections of happiness to human beings in this world and beyond. So the absence of this maqasid will not cause disruption to human life and cause hardship and difficulty. But the missing of this maqasid, human life will not be perfect. Human life will not be beautiful and not in a better positions. This is maqasid tahsiniyah. What rules are there have been prescribed for the maqasid tahsiniyah? So, for example, the rule of cleanliness. We have to clean our physical body, to clean our clothes. As the Quran says, "Inna Allaha yuhibbu at-tawwabin wa yuhibbu al-mutatahhirin." Truly, Allah loves those who turn to Him in repentance and love those who purify themselves. Then, in another verse, the Quran says, "Wasiyabaka fatahhir," and also purify your garment. And then also the rules relating to the cleanliness of the foods, that is the halal foods. So this is the prohibitions of the dirty item, as we know that Islam prohibited for Muslim to consume the dirty item, just like animal, swine, and the bloods. So it is to this is about the cleanliness of the food. So the Quran said, "Ya ayyuhan nas, kulu mimma fil ardi halalan tayyiban, wa la tattabi'u khutuwati syaitan innahu lakum aduwwun mubin." All mankind eat of that which is lawful and good, not only lawful but good on the earth, and follow not the footsteps of Satan. Verily, the Satan is to you an open enemy. So this is about the cleanliness of food, cleanliness of our physical bodies, cleanliness of our clothes, and then also about the adab, about the manner of drinking, eating, dressing, as well as speaking. This is to show that this is the beauty of Islam. Just like, for example, in adab of the speaking. So when we speak with our parents, so what the Quran says, وَلَا تَقُلْ لَهُمَا أُفٍّ, to our parents. وَلَا تَقُلْ لَهُمَا أُفٍّ وَلَا تَنْحَرْهُمَا وَقُلْ لَهُمَا قَوْلًا كَرِيمًا. So when we cannot say to them, cannot say to our parents, word of disrespect, no shout at them, but address them in terms of honors. So this is about adab of the speaking, not only with our parents, with others as well. So this is to show the beauty of the Islam. And then also adab of dressing, to dress with a proper dress. And then also about the excessive spending are also prohibited, and then stinginess are also prohibited. So Islam is moderation between stinginess and excessive spending. The Quran says, وَكُلُوا وَاشْرَبُوا وَلَا تُسْرِفُوا إِنَّهُ لَا يُحِبُّ الْمُسْرِفِينَ. And eat and drink, but waste not by excess. So for Allah, love not the wasters. So these are about the beauty of the Islam. And then Islam also encourages us to perform commendable ibadah, as well as the charitable work, and then encouraged to give charitable donation, just like sadaqah, wakaf, give, request, the taxes, the others, the needy, the poor. So this is about the Maqasid tasing. So these are three types of the Maqasid Shariah. Shariah consists of three types of rules: aqidah, akhlaq, and fiqh. And then the Shariah that has an objective. What is the objective of the Shariah? That is the realizations of benefit to mankind in this world and hereafter. So under this one, there are three types of maslah that Shariah seek to achieve. That is Maqasid Daruriyah. This is the protection of five values: religion, life, intellect, progeny, and wealth. Maqasid Hajiyah, that is to provide easiness and comfort. Maqasid Tahsiniyah, that is to enrich, make life a perfect life. So now we come to the conclusions of our discussions. What we may conclude in our discussion that by following the guidance of the Shariah, that is, we follow the guidance from the Quran and Sunnah and act what has been prescribed in Quran and Sunnah, inshallah, we will attain sejahtera, we will attain sa'adah, that happiness and success in this world and hereafter. In this respect, I want to close this discussions with two verses of the Quran. The first one, the Quran says, فَمَنِ اتَّبَعَ هُدَايَ فَلَا يَضِلُّ وَلَا يَشْقَى وَمَنْ أَعْرَضَ عَنْ ذِكْرِي فَإِنَّ لَهُ مَعِيشَةً ضَنكًا وَنَحْشُرُهُ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ أَعْمَى. Then whoever follow my guidance shall neither go astray nor shall be distressed. But whoever turn away from my reminder, Verily for him is life of hardship, and we shall raise him up blind on the day of resurrection. So inshallah, if we follow the guidance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we are not in the wrong way, we are not be in a position of distress. And then the second was, the Quran says, Man amila salihan min dhakarin aw untha wa huwa mu'minun falanuhyiyannahu hayatan tayyibatan walanajziyannahum ajrahum bi ahsani ma kanu ya'malun. Whoever works righteousness with a male or female and has faith, verily to him we will give a good life, and we shall bestow them a certain reward in proportions up to the best of what they used to do, and that is paradise. So if we follow the guidance from Allah and we work righteously, inshallah, Allah will give us a good life in this world and in the hereafter. So before I close our discussions, I would like to invite all of you to think how to translate, how to incorporate this framework in our learning process, in our curriculums, in our learning activities, in our research, as much as possible in order to achieve this objective. As we are Murabbi, so that we can bring goodness to ourselves as well as to our students, inshallah. So by this, I would like to thank all of you for your kind attentions. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.